We are very, very blessed today. We've got my man Grady Polcyn, senior board member of FFL America, doing well over $2.5 million a month in the building with us today. And you can see he's got on that nice integrity hat because he's a newly minted integrity partner. Grady Polcyn, how are you, brother?
Doing well, my man. Happy to be on here with you. Appreciate the invitation to connect with your crowd. We've got a great group that is inspiring our whole company. So anytime I can get back to them, I look forward to it because they've given so much from a setting the bar so high perspective. So happy to be here, man.
Well, we're happy to have you, man. And, Grady, everything that you guys have done in the last, year and a half, I want to say, has been unbelievable. Really since you started, but the growth that you've had in the last 12 months is ridiculous. Very strong. Very admirable. People can watch it, duplicate it. I want to pull some of that out of you today because you went into annual convention with like $700,000 in volume, right? Something like that, if I recall.
Correct.
Like you had just cracked that. And we just closed out 2020 and you finished the year, north of 2.5 million. So that's 350% growth in 10 months, bro. So obviously you got your buttons working. Obviously you got a good pulse on, groups, building managers, leaders, getting agents started, recruiting. And that's the stuff that we really want to hit on today because I think the country can learn from FFL America. And if anyone's watching close enough, they have, but we want to go under the hood, if you will, today and try to figure out exactly what are some things that are working really well. So appreciate you jumping on with us, man. It's always an honor and a privilege, but if you could jump into some of the things that you saw really when this thing started going for you. I'm assuming day one you thought about building a business. Would that be fair or no?
Yeah, it would be fair. I thought about it. I was intimidated because I didn't trust myself as a sales producer, but I saw what Andrew did and I'd heard calls with you on it and I'd heard of the Mike Killamit guy and I was like, how cool would it be? How cool would it be to build a big agency? How does it work? I don't know. How will it end up? How will I get there? I don't know. So much uncertainty. But I knew that if I started as a producer, that I would gain confidence in the industry and in FFL and in the company and the leads and everything that then would allow me that sort of future confidence to turn around and introduce this to others. So I was mildly intimidated, but the vision was there.
When did it click so I remember you coming into convention in 2020 with momentum like crazy, just swagged out. I'm assuming it clicked prior to that, right? Like this idea that you can go from, you saw Andrew's growth, you could go from whatever you were doing, 300 to 3 million. Like when did that click for you?
I don't know if anything ever, there was a click, right? It was just like, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where these guys want to be yet. So we should just keep doing it. We should keep doing more of it. And I think that convention took a massive component of it. So this should come out before convention, which would be the understanding of you guys. If you have any goal to build an agency, getting as many people to convention as possible would be tremendously successful for you. And the old adage is there's no guarantee that going to convention will make you successful. But it's ironic that every successful person in Family First Life will be at convention. So I think, right?
That's good.
So
That's really
prior
good.
to convention, us knowing that this event's coming up, last year it was in Las Vegas, which was a blessing for, a good part of my team's on the West Coast. I went all out, balls to the walls recruiting. And then this year that happens to be in 7 locations. So we can recruit in 7 different markets and get people to these life-changing, inspiring, high-level training events that, if we focus so much effort on just getting people to convention, a lot of that energy carried through in just traditional, hey, you got to come to our event. Hey, listen, dude, it's great we're talking. we got convention coming up shortly, and it's, if I was talking to you in a month or two, I would say, hey man, we just finished our most amazing convention we've ever had.
Right.
Unfortunately, we're talking right now.
Right.
We got this opportunity for you as someone who wants to get involved in this insurance sales business, this entrepreneurial business, the ability to attend our number one event of the year. It's amazing. We're talking right now. I couldn't think of a better opportunity for us to be talking right now, and get them excited. So we did a lot of that rolling into last year's convention.
Right.
That energy kind of just took us forward. We hit 700, 900, 1.2, 1.2, 1.2. And I mean, and then what's crazy is that the December, right before we hit 700 last January, we did 400. So we went 400, 700, 900, 1.2. And I didn't
even realize that. A $300,000 jump in 1 month. I didn't realize that's pretty strong.
So it's a collection of people focused on selling, but at the same standpoint, not so intimidated to get uncomfortable with talking to other people. And that's the main reason people don't recruit, I think, is the uncertainty and fear of what if I screw this up? What if I say the wrong thing? We're all like, we're taught to go in the home and be a doctor, right? Be firm and be certain and be commanding, and to Dolores says I need to think about it. Dolores, there's nothing to think about, right? Push back on Dolores. But when we're recruiting, we're talking to someone that maybe could be a partner for us, someone that maybe we might talk to a lot. So we're very, I think, as people, afraid to be judged or afraid to say the wrong thing or afraid to be a little challenging. You know what, man, Marc, I really can't get started right now, maybe in a few months. Listen, Marc, nothing's changed for you in the past 37 years. You're doing the same thing. You're working at the bar, you're serving tables, you sell cars. If you want to talk in a few months, man, I just told you I made $27,000 last month.
All right.
You sound like a sharp guy. You're number one producer at the car lot. You made $7,000. Great job. But the number one person here last month made 100.
Right.
So let's get serious, man. Are you ready to move forward? And so I think new agents, the uncertainty and fear of challenging potential recruits and prospects inhibits them and pulls them back from the thought of, hey, I really could build something if I just get real kind of strong. And I didn't insult. I just challenged you. I said, hey man, you sound sharp. You apply to this ad, yet all of a sudden now you're too busy. And so I think that's where we can really, us as a team, we got real confident about what we created. But I also think that anyone listening here, that don't hold back to talk to people about this. If you had a good week, I teach agents, recruit off your most recent win. If you made $1,700 today, if you made $7,000 last week, if you made $22,000 last month, tell people that, because that's more money than 98% of society is making.
Right.
And when you use those examples, they go, maybe I can trust this person because they're making more money than I am. And at least they can get me to where I need to get to meet other people if I don't like them so much. Right. So that's part of it. I think really kind of helped us.
That's awesome. In December of 2019, have 400 grand. Did you see 700,000 coming, or were you shocked? So this is good because there's people that are doing 150 that want to get to 4, and there's people at 4 trying to get to 7. So you are at 400,000 in December. 700,000 is really not on your radar. What's on your radar at that moment? 500, right? Like 500, yeah. So you're looking for 20% growth, cool, but you get 80% growth. What did that feel like? How did you see? Like you had to feel it happening. Like you were probably surprised, but it was like, holy cow! Like, whoa. Like, what did that look like inside your organization for someone who's at 3 trying to get to 6 or 150 trying to get to 5? What did that look like?
It was a lot of energy, a lot of people more focused. I mean, there is a truth. We were doing in September, I think we did, 310, October 3, we did the last 4 months of 2019, we did somewhere within 75 grand of 400. Like we just were kept trying to get people going. Mm-hmm. And I think coming across that holiday that the part-timers decided, hey, maybe I didn't have the holiday I wanted. The full-timers said, I had a good year last year, but I'm ready to go all in now. People that have been recruiting, contracting caught up, and all of a sudden now we've got, we grew our writers base by, I think, 50% writer base growth. Wow. We went from like 80 to 120 writers in a month. And that was because of all the work we put in those previous 3 months of just, it's the digging the well before you need the water. It's the it's getting the wood before you need the fire. We just kept bringing people in and just kept being positive. Our top producers kept selling. I kept selling at the highest level I possibly could. And then all of a sudden come around the corner, and now boom, here we are, January 2020, and conventions rolling. People want to, and that's a big thing too. Convention coming up. I teach people, get as much experience as possible, so when you're sitting in that event, you can be refined as much as possible. Because you're gonna going in there and having run 7 appointments is great, but going in there and having run 70 appointments as a new agent and getting kicked in the teeth a bunch, making some money, making a mess, you're gonna go in there and you're gonna have far more clarity of examples coming from top producers and great agency managers on how to do it better the week after convention. And so that message and that mission, I think, is what kind of catapulted us forward. And I think that anyone here listening, as you are gearing up for convention coming up, go as hard and fast as you can on sales, so that when you're sitting in there, you go, yeah, I did have, I have had no shows. I did have a day where I had 8 appointments booked and I sold 1. And then I had a day where I had 4 appointments booked and I was all pissed off myself, but I closed all 4. And you're going to hear these stories from agents and managers, and it's going to give you clarity and permission to just keep going and building at this business. And so I think that's kind of where we didn't see it coming.
Right, sure.
But when it came, we were like, okay, well, it was like worth it, right? It was like all this time and money on ads and phone calls and people that said they were doing contracting, and then you don't hear from them again. All of a sudden they pop up with a lead order.
Sure.
Like, where you been, John? I was busy. Okay, well, I'm ready to go now. Great. Okay, John, let's go.
So what would you say to somebody who's putting in that work, maybe not seeing it, putting in that work, maybe not seeing it, getting frustrated, wants to start over, wants to change their system, wants to get a new website? What do you say to that person?
I would say keep going and then keep growing yourself. It's a far more big personal skill growth situation. How do you grow your skills? Personal experience and knowledge. Personal experience is going out there and talking to 100 potential agents and screwing some up and it not working out, and then having something to refine. And then knowledge is get on YouTube and look up videos on how to recruit. There's a lot of people out there that want to be trainers, and whether or not they're great trainers or not, there's words and word tracks they put together that help them, that you can learn from and teach you how to move people forward.
Nice.
And that's really where I think we have a magic with FFL, is that we create this challenging environment, but there's so much success inside this environment that it's difficult for people to doubt it. We don't get it. We don't have a lot of haters, which is remarkable for like an entrepreneurial sales-based business. People go, they come into our world and they go, I just don't want to work as hard as they do.
Right. That's the number one complaint, right? Like
they don't want to work as hard as they do.
Yeah, they say like, everything they said it was, but I mean, if you get the leads and you work, you're going to be successful. Right? Like that's like the Glassdoor complaint, right? Like,
yeah.
Which is like,
I
which is
still on the
unbelievable.
telephone 300 times, Mark. And I called 7 leads and none of them answered. I don't think this is for me. Okay, man, it's not for you. Like Sean always goes, I agree, it's not for you. I agree. I don't think you can make it. I'm not going to challenge you. I love how he always does that. But for someone that's stuck, guys, there's no shortage on the personal growth plan, right? We talk a lot about how FFL is a personal development program with a compensation plan attached. And the reality is that you have to evolve as a person. And what Integrity is really buying, what they're partnering with, is someone who has a skill set and assets and can manage a group of people and can help create results. Yeah. And that's what I think, that if we all would focus on that more than like, websites are great and all these things are fine. Like they're necessary items, but it's not more necessary than hitting your minimums, right? Is your minimum 7,000 submit a week? And if you're like, well, I was cranked out on my website, put 80, 100 hours a week in it. Great, but you didn't hit your minimum. And now your team's concerned what you're doing. And also now you're financially stressing yourself out because you're not hitting your sales minimums, which your lifestyle has been raised because you started making more money, right? And so there's just little things that I think that if people will discipline themselves to do and understand that we've all gotten stuck. We've all had months where we went back. Right. We've all had challenges that if you keep growing you and looking at how can I communicate better? What what am I lacking here? What would I love to be able to do? Well, then go study someone who's great at that. And they don't have to necessarily be internally in FFL. There's a billion entrepreneurial industries with great people who've got the word tracks and mindsets and overcoming things that you can dig into, which will help you. And then you bring them in the FFL world and go, oh, that guy's really smart. Right. You're like, he just read a book, Marc. You know, so we can't be so tunnel vision that we don't feel that there's other great realtors or other industries, that there's great people that have built businesses that we couldn't learn some tips from. I mean, and I think that would be a big component, that anyone who's stuck right now, the key is just keep going and work on you getting better, right? The great line is there: invest into yourself. It's the only place where you can guarantee a positive return. That's true. Right. So I buy courses. I have a subscription to Masterclass. I've got a subscription to Success.com's entire Jim Rohn library. I just got stuck. Right. My mind's going the wrong way. What do I do? Yeah. I go listen to someone that's overcome things that I haven't even. And that's where you can grow with people and have new insights on how to continue to build your business.
It's amazing. Yeah, that's strong. Once you saw that growth, and as you saw yourself going over $1 million, you started to feel it. And then, we get hit with this pandemic, right? I mean, that was supposed to be like one of the most disrupting things in our business, or any business, and it did disrupt many businesses. But Grady, and I've told you this, I literally saw FFL America take the pandemic, yoke it up against a wall, punch it a couple of times in the face, and blow right through it. Like, you were like a light to guys and gals who didn't punch the pandemic in the face. Like, what was happening at that time for you? What was happening at that time for your leaders that made you say, all right, 2020, I see you, but here's what we got for you? Because that was amazing to watch.
I feel that, this thing the coronavirus, COVID-19 pandemic, I mean, it's a real thing that exists. Sure, absolutely. Right. So people are getting sick, and some aren't making it. And I got it, and it's awful. It's a real thing. However, there are millions of people that are requesting life insurance coverage, and our agents being deemed essential puts them in a capacity where they have the ability to continue to work. And just because a lot of the world was forced to shut down doesn't mean that our people, our clients who need protection are requesting coverage, and our agents who have bills shouldn't pursue and protect clients in the most safe way they could, whether 100%. That's over the phone, whether that's at a safe social distance across the table, both wearing masks, whether that's on the front porch or the license was verified from the front door and then the agent sat in the car. Mm-hmm. Our agents just said, hey, I still got bills, and a lot of, we didn't have any banger producers. You've got the biggest collection of monsters that, you got the greatest, you got the best players, right? You got all the Babe Ruths, right? Right. So I got a bunch of great Scottie Pippens, and we're kicking butt, man. But you got some Babe Ruths on your team, and that's fantastic. So, in saying that, my guys didn't have a bunch of just stacked up capital that they could wait it out. Got it. And not that may not. And I'm
sure, absolutely.
And not respect for them.
Yes.
But in our situation, it was like we just got to keep going, right. And it was like we didn't know what else to do. A lot of our guys, they just felt compelled to keep serving. They felt compelled to keep working. And I wasn't going to be someone to tell them not to, and right. Follow in Sean's lead from a big capacity, and just keep working, protect families, and that's really where we saw a lot of our growth during that period of time, because at the same time there was a significant amount of people who were forced out of work, yeah. And they were looking for a new opportunity, and we were able to help a lot of people and put them in positions. We didn't stop our marketing efforts, and we didn't stop our selling efforts, and that really kind of what propelled us through the past year.
Dude, honestly, it was a light. It was a light. And I think everybody ended up propelling. Everyone ended up growing and kind of exploding through that. But it didn't start out that way. You know what I'm saying? It started out for us, we started out, we got hit we were probably the epicenter for a while, the Northeast, New York, and then it spread into Jersey. PA shut down. So it was like, dude, we went backwards, but what y'all did really was like, okay, dude, like, what do you want me to do? Like, there's a whole bunch of people out there serving families. You can either serve them or not. But I just wanted to give you props because it says a lot about why you have the success you have, but it definitely helped. Like, and again, as we're doing, the more we do that, and the more the time goes by and the years go by, what we're realizing is, and even now, dude, and 100%, you and I are partners now, like integrity partners, but we are only as strong as the weakest link, and we are all light for each other, and that's kind of the point here is like, you can get your dreams, aspirations, you can get motivation. The will is yours, but you can get all these outside factors from all these different FFL agents and agencies to get to where you want to be. And that's really what, if I were going to say, and from afar, if I were going to say FFL America, I would always look back to 2020. I would always go, wow, like, and I can just start writing or speaking about that. So kudos to you and your crew for that. So now, as you get to $1 million a month, $1.2 million, $1.3 million, what starts to change? Does the way you lead change? Do you have to? Did you set up systems that got you to 2 million, or at $1 million, $1.2 million, $1.3 million, you started to change some of the things you were doing to get to 2.5, almost 3 million? What did that look like inside there for someone to looking to have that kind of success?
I mean, we had a good call with some of your crew recently,
Yep.
And a lot of the things that I laid out for you guys are things that we established 2 years ago when we were doing 250 to 400, and everything's the same. And it was just getting a setup and a system where we've got a place where we can point people to, and a structure for recognition, and a place where we can interact and answer questions and report our sales, and then leveraging the Facebook group for like just a bigger picture, like, hey, this is real, adding prospects to it, this is real, is the same stuff we use today. And so there was, I think the only thing that changed is I got out of the field about 1.2. I remember that I had a phone call with you, and I was like, dude, I'm terrified. What do I do all day? I'm running.
That's one of the scariest feelings in the world, dude. Seriously.
Because you control your financial destiny. And then now all of a sudden, I've got to hope that these people that are great, phenomenal, excellent producers are going to keep going so I can feed my kids.
I get it.
And I'm letting go of my leads. I'm I'm burning my running pants, right? I'm joking. But it's the feeling of being able to go out and sell on your own pen is like, as a man, it's like one of the most like gratifying things that I could ever want someone to experience, right? Like the feeling of getting a lead and booking the appointment and driving over, and they're home and showing up and showing them programs that'll be best for their family. They pick the middle one and getting it put in place and getting paid in a couple of days. That cycle is addicting. It's more addicting than anything else I could think of.
It's real.
So for all you guys that are selling, keep doing it. Like, it is the best, most electrifying, endorphin rush feeling you can get of closing sales. Oh my gosh. But the transition out of it was difficult for me because I was so accustomed. My life for 2.5 years was packing my bag, down the phone, packing my bag, being gone 4 days a week, kissing the kids while they're asleep at night, making them breakfast in the morning, and dad being gone, driving across town. And I loved it, right? It was because there's that immediate gratification, right? You tell the wife, I wrote $5,000 today. The wife's happy, right?
Sure,
right?
Yeah.
So to transition out of that, it was a very different experience, but one that, like, you start to go look at your business and you go, okay, well, where can I help now? Moving agents potentially, or focusing 2 and 3 and 4 levels in depth of certain producers. A lot of times we can get very complacent talking to our top people all the time because they become our buddies because we've spent so much time building it. Now they're doing 200-300 and it's like, how's it going? But now I go 2, 3, 4 layers down. I spend time with those people. And now we're able to kind of work in depth with people, helping them overcome objections, hear my perspective versus just their manager's perspective, my objections versus their objections, lead flow, any lead flow things I hear, markets are in. And that's really where you get a real good feeling and perspective on your whole business.
Sure.
So I'm talking to a guy in Iowa and he's like, dude, I'm getting these 3-month mortgage leads and there's 20,000 in a CRM. And I go, and I put a text out to my group, hey, hire in Iowa because there's 20,000 mortgage leads that are available for $2 a pop. And guess what? Now 7 of my guys post ads in Iowa now. And now we're just kind of like, I'm managing and trying to go, where can I move and put effort and energy and what things am I learning across the team that I can help other people on the team that want to grow.
Yeah.
So that's really was the big changing component. There's no lack of work or time. I remember Mike Schroeds asked me one time on a call, he goes, Grady, what do you do now? I was like, Mike,
isn't that so funny?
I solve problems all day, Mike. That's pretty much what I do. So-and-so wants and so-and-so had basically a problem. That's all it's problems.
I remember when I got out the field, some of my team members would come to me and say exact words, what do you do? I'm like, Jesus. Oh, man, I validated this field thing too well. I said, I don't know. I'm figuring it out. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, you're right. You become and time reallocates pretty quickly, doesn't it? Like what looked like blank space when you got out of the field became pretty busy, like there's a lot to do. I mean, like, it reallocates pretty fast. You know, you get to a new level, it feels empty for a week, 10 days, but then it goes, it just fills. You know what I'm saying? Like, talk a little bit about, you talked about your sales life. But your entire sales life, you were recruiting and building a business. Talk to the people that sell a lot or can sell a lot, but need some help with building while selling. What would you say to that?
I would say that it has to be your addiction as a big producer is what I went through. Is your love of selling. You love to sell, you love to kill, you love the commission, you love seeing your number go up, you love seeing your name at the top. I love that you love all that. You love posting, you love posting in Facebook group 128 HMS. Right. As worthless as that is for everybody, because you're just telling people that you can sell, which is great and all, that you can sell, but who are you helping with that post? You gotta be careful too. What are we posting all the time? Like, is it me is it Grady posting in Facebook that our team recruited 175 people this week? Like, does that inspire someone or could that intimidate someone? Right. So it's being a very humble and neutral from like a positioning standpoint. So be careful what you're posting in your groups. You know, look for ways to give value out of it. Right. I overcame this objection. This lead I didn't think would work and it worked. I did my first travel trip and I got paid. Every post you guys make should be giving some value to the group. Right. No one gives a blank that you sold another HMS. No one cares. They know you can sell.
That's great.
They already know you can sell. So telling them over and over and over how much you sell, you just look like, you know, I don't know. I don't know why you keep doing that. I would hope you would stop that, whoever you are. So to those of you that sell a lot and want to build, the whole thing I would say for you is and I hate even saying this, but writing 90 grand a month and being in the field 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, or maybe you're so gosh darn skilled you can do that in 3 days. I'll say it a different way. It's being as focused as you are at selling on disciplining yourself to be talking to agents and having an anxious pit in your stomach, butterflies sitting outside the principal's office in 7th grade, getting ready to go in and knowing when you go in, they're going to call your dad and he's going to come beat the heck out of you or your mom, whomever was the beater, and being that scared to death feeling that you didn't talk to enough potential recruits. Because for all of you great producers on this amazing team, the only reason you're not growing more is that your selfishness in selling overshadows your ability to be helpful with building your agency. Wow. Because I could have written 50, 60, 70. Yes. But I would run my 6-8 appointments and I would get to my 9 to 12 submit and I'd hit my 300 grand in a year And the amount of time that I wasn't writing 600, I took that other amount of time and I dialed agents as fast as possible and talked to people. And my goal was never to get out of the field. It was like, I just wanted to build something, right? I really just wanted, like, hey, if I buy these leads, I want to be able to pass them off to other agents in my local market. And then I was like, hey, I could recruit people in Chicago, and hey, I could recruit people in California. So for me, or for what I would suggest for you guys, is get as obsessed as possible with you becoming a better recruiter and promoter of FFL. No one cares how much you can sell. Say it once on the call, right? I say one time on the call, I wrote 27 grand. But my passion for FFL and my passion for wanting to help them become a great producer and protect their family and get out of their job they don't like, or find validation in something that they've struggled with, and they've been in our amazing industry, and their best year ever was 78,000 at a 40% comp, and I bring them over here, because the whole thing's not about what Grady is, it's about what we can do, it's what can I help them do. So that would be my plea for all of you amazing banger producers, is that your skill set of producing is just it's a couple switches away. It's a couple more hours a day of actually talking to people about this and humbling yourself enough to know that, if I can write 100 a month, what's it, and you're knocking out 50, 40, 30 to 60 hours a week in work, what would it be like to make 100 a month, not sell? And Marc and I'll tell you, it's good. It's good. And it's something that I'll tell you, probably he will agree. That was never on the plan. It was never like, this is insane money which you can make here if you build a business. It's beyond scope of realm and reality of what that you can make if you build a big team. That's true. But you'll never ever build a big team if it's always about you and showing how much you can sell, and everyone look at me. Yeah. And this is I take no credit on anything ever. If my name's on something, I tell Caitlin to delete it. Right. Like, I don't want any credit. Amen. I want to be, the old line is, you want to go from the back of the room to the front of the room to the back of the room. And that means you want to be the new producer in the back of the room, then you want to go to the front of the room, and then you want to be training to teach the people, and then you want to disappear in the back of the room and have no involvement, but the whole business is yours. Right. And that's one of the most greatest things if I could hope you guys would focus on, is spending more time just talking to potential agents and telling them what this business can do for them, and stop telling them how great you are. Grady, I love talking to you, man. You're such a business savant. You have great business acumen. If I'm listening, and I guess the message I want to publicize right now, if you're listening to this, you should be listening to Grady's cadence, the passion behind how much better he wants to get every day, how much he wants to help people get better every day, because that is the deal. You do that over 6 months, 12 months, it gets crazy. There's levels to this. It starts to get crazy. But selling a lot of life insurance is great. It does protect you and your family. But if you're not doing it to help others protect them and their family, like I sold a lot of life insurance, Grady, but the entire time I was building a team. I mean, I had recruiters, I had resumes in my car. There wasn't a time I was in the car I wasn't talking to agents. And I didn't know anything about getting out of the field. I had no idea that was a concept like that could happen, nor was it ever on my radar. And I always sold to the maximum the month could handle, but I also dialed in my car and in my office to the maximum the month could handle, whatever that was. So whatever time was white, it became recruiting time or talking to new agents, prospects, or existing agents, right? And I don't think I ever sold 100. I think my biggest month was 90, and I never did it like month in and month out. It was more like 55, 60 a month. Yeah. And I used the money to build a business. So I do think the sales side is great. I do think there's a cost of diminishing returns on, I'm the greatest salesman since sliced bread. I think there's diminishing returns on that. So I appreciate that perspective, because, dude, after a while, it's like the only reason you should be selling that much is to pour 80% of it back in and build a business on steroids. The money you make from sales after your personal life's changed, and it's like you should be building the business on steroids with that money, or
reverse engineering that time in sales to recruiting. It's one or the other or both. So that's really strong. But I highlight those points because this is the blueprint in phases. But this podcast is the blueprint on how to build a big business. Really, that's what I'm hearing. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping that people can get this. And Grady, I'll close with this, but, integrity, comes knocking at your door, or maybe you're knocking at theirs, and you open it and you guys start having a conversation. What does it feel like, my man, to be an integrity partner? And then now you say you write $5,000, my wife's happy. Your wife what is she now? Because happy wife, happy life. She ain't happy, bro. She's ecstatic. So talk to the people about why it is all worth it and what it means for your team moving forward.
I think this is a great way to close. And I would tell all those, all of our collectively FFL's amazing producers, you can be let's use a business example. 2 ways to make money in life: talent or leverage. Okay, you're crazy talent. Taylor Swift, crazy talented. Patrick Mahomes, crazy talented. Dak Prescott was crazy talented, broke his leg. Thank God he's got some guaranteed money, right? But as crazy talented producers, God forbid something happens and you've got to go take care of your mom, or you have to go, something happens to you, or something happens and you can't go produce. You're now a family, and the future financial stability of your family is dependent on whatever you'd saved up. But how that's transition. Let's build a business and let's get 100 people writing business. Let's make 5% off that. We're doing $1 million a month at 5%. That's $50,000 a month coming in every single month because you built a business and created a structure and worked real hard with your talent. Taught people how also to grow their talent. They may decide to create leverage if that's their choice. But my advice to all of you is create leverage as fast as you possibly can by hiring people, giving them great commission rates, and now what you've created is a bulletproof position. So that's really where you fast forward to integrity, and it's just to be totally transparent, guys. Like, it was something I wasn't interested in when I first started. I was like, I'm making more money I ever made in a month than I've made in 3 years. Like, so why do I want to partner with this company? And this doesn't make any sense. And I don't really understand. Let me be very crystal clear. I was a fool. Okay, I was a complete fool, because the platform and opportunity to become a partner inside of a multi-billion-dollar, highly successful, highly profitable company, and the stock options and the stability and the stress relief from roll-up debt and roll-up leads, and paying your staff and HR and all of the things that we have to deal with as business owners, the business end of it now gets taken care of, and now we just focus on helping people become better people. We focus now I have even more time that I can spend with those 2, 3, 4, 5 layered down agents, talking to them, or now recruiting new potential legs, or giving out agents, etc.
Grady, you're a savage, bro. Really, really, really love doing these with you, man. So I always learn so much listening to you and hearing your perspective, and anybody who's gunning for success at the level that you're gunning for it. It's just amazing to hear and watch. So thank you so much for sharing with us like you always do. These are always instant classics. You just press the button, classic, and appreciate it, man. Guys, let's continue to drive momentum towards a big year. Annual convention's right around the corner. Make sure you're registered for one of these 7 locations. You got your rooms booked, flight booked, and you're getting down there to get the knowledge, because the stuff that Grady's talking about, most of it was derived from mindsets through annual convention. So thanks, Grady, for all you do. Let's make it a big week, guys. God bless.